Joining me is Phil the Thrill. That's right, the esports director of S2 Games, Heroes of New Earth, and a former honcaster. Glad to have him back on as a co-caster. And this is the Plantronics Grand Finals. Heroes of New Earth, of course. We got Clan Milk taking on Trademark Esports here in game number 1 of our first possible best out of 3. And I say that again because Clan Milk, if they win one of this first best of 3 series, it is over, coming from the winner's bracket. If tdM wins it, however, then we'll be having a second best out of 3 to ultimately determine who the champion is. So, possibility of a lot of Heroes of New Earth tonight. Looking forward to it. Again, though, joined by Phil, doing a lot of introductions here. Hopefully for the last time, though. How you doing again?
I'm doing great. Let me ask you a question, Breaky. Do you prefer the 2 best of 3 series, or do you prefer the best out of 5 with Clan Milk from the winner's bracket coming in 1-0?
Best out of 5. And I say that because, again, with this format that we're doing here, it's a possibility of maximum 6 matches if both series go best out of 3. That's a lot of freaking Heroes of New Earth straight, especially when we're starting so late. Obviously, 9 Eastern. It's already 3 a.m. Central European time, so yeah, I simply prefer the best out of 5 because that simply will only go to 4 games at the most. But, you know, what's done is done, so. What about you? You like this format?
I'm not opposed to it. I don't know. I think I agree with what you just said, mostly, which is it's a possibility of a lot of Heroes of New Earth, and you know, with the picking stage and where we are currently with the way the game is shifted as far as the play style of it, games seem to either go for like 20 minutes or like an hour. So, with plus picking and everything, you know, I could imagine if we're here for the next 6.5 hours. That's
yeah.
I don't even want to think about that. You know, crawling out of here at 3:30 a.m. I mean, it's been a long time since we had a match that. In fact, the last time I remember us being up until 3 a.m. casting a match that wasn't a LAN event was SK versus EG back in the Gosu Gamers World Cup losers bracket. So.
I do remember that. Or, of course, for some Southeast
We also
Asia.
started at midnight, though. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of a...
Yeah. But anyways, again, what's done is done. Here we are in game number 1 of our first best of 1. Again, Clan Milk, they win 1 series, they win it all. tdM wins the first series. We are going to that second best of 3. But let's take it simple for now. So we're in game number 1. No matter what happens after this, we will at least be having another one. But the picks have begun, of course. So let's go ahead and look at the band, see what we're dealing with. So we got Valkyrie, Tempest, Ophelia, Polywalk Priest, Pebbles, Tundra, Magnus, and Moraxis, of course. So... yeah, nothing too crazy about the bans here. Obviously, Parasite is left open. We've been seeing more and more of that lately as far as jungle heroes are concerned. Him and Keeper of the Force being the 2 viable options here. Valkyrie ban, though. Not too often we see that. I unfortunately had to clear chat, so I'm not ture who banned Valkyrie. I want to say tdM. Oh, Clan Milk, really? Interesting. Yep. Thoughts on the bans?
Nothing really to point out aside from the Valkyrie, which you mentioned, and there are... I'm sure a lot of people who play a great Valkyrie on either of these teams, but she is one of the things I think stands out about Valkyrie is that she kind of does everything well. She's a good early game hero with if you can have somebody who lines up a really good stun to be able to land those long duration 4 or 5 second arrows. She scales very well into the mid and late game, and she's got great farming utility as well. So as a hero, Valkyrie just kind of has a little bit of everything. She's not necessarily a master of all trades, but a jack of all trades type of hero. So
sorry.
No, go ahead. I mean, I was going to say I think it's a solid ban, but it kind of does make me scratch my head.
Yeah, it's if this was against Frey, we saw WTF over there, then that's definitely someone that comes to mind. And, okay, that makes a little more sense. But tdM, exactly as you're putting it. I don't necessarily see a tdM player that's really intimidating when it comes to Valkyrie. But I was gonna make the point too. All throughout Han's competitive history, for doing this for 2.5 years now, Valkyrie probably has been the most consistent hero that we've seen all throughout history. Easily top 5 at that. I mean,
I'd say probably Valkyrie, Glacius.
Yeah.
I mean, like, support heroes, obviously, like Glacius, Andromeda, those heroes you'll always see every now and then. But yeah, I think Valkyrie, as far as, like, the agility, especially in the agility pool, Valkyrie's probably the most often seen.
Yeah.
And probably Silhouette since she came out.
Yeah, and speaking of that, obviously Moon Meander has been having a lot of Silhouette success recently, but not going to see this game. And speaking of that, obviously picks on both sides are done. We got 14 seconds before we're going to be going into the game. Give us a little bit of time to talk about both sides. So we'll start with Clan Milk over here on the Legion side, of course. So game number 1, we got Bubbles, Torturer, Cthulhu Font, Glacius, and Hammerstorm. That's a lot of CC over there. That's definitely the first thing that stands out to me. A lot of CC to work with, obviously crowd control. Going with the Hammerstorm. And again, Hammerstorm kind of one of these heroes that has made a comeback, very popular in the Triland era. He completely died out after that, but he has been starting to come back more and more as time has gone on, and I'm glad to see that. Definitely a very fun hero to watch, I think, at least, especially if he gets more of a built up and presses that R and just wrecks face with it. But yeah, powerful team over here. No really true carry by any means on this Legion side, and I'm curious to see how they're actually going to lane things as well. Thoughts on the Legion team, Phil?
Well, they definitely have a lot of really strong, and it looks like this is what they're going to do, like tri-lane potential with that killer tri-lane. You got Glacius, Hammerstorm, and Cthulhu Font. The great thing about Cthulhu Font is everybody knows is if you feel like you might be getting shut down a little bit in the lane, you can always duck in on the side and grab, especially I really like what they're doing, moving this tri-lane to the top, because it leaves that hard camp right next to the lane. So while a lot of teams can use that camp to pull the creep wave and perhaps, gain lane advantage, what Cthulhu Font can easily duck in there and eat a creep real quick. And if you get something like Catman camp or a Minotaur camp, especially a Catman camp, that's an easy, 100, 160 gold that you're going to get right there. Just from doing that. So not only are you helping keeping your gold intake up, but you also, kind of get over there to get some solo experience if you're having a rough time. But they got a really good potential to have that killer tri-lane, as we've seen many times where you're stacking stuns. Great to see Hammerstorm back in the game as well, I wanted to mention. We've seen Hammerstorm run in every single role imaginable.
Yeah.
We've seen him run from support, run the support role, we've seen him run the carry role. A lot of times we see him run as the initiator, and I think that's probably one of the things we'll look to see here, although I do feel like most of the farm will probably try to go to Cthulhu Font.
I agree there, and that probably see that. But yeah, my only concern about this, again, the killer tri-lane that we like to call, which is what CM is going to be doing, or appears that CM is going to be doing here. Who's it going to be going up against? And right now it seems like it's going to be going up against a solo electrician. So obviously you got to wonder, really, what is that going to accomplish from Clan Milk's standpoint? And with that said, I very likely expect them to make a change sooner than later. Because Forsaken Archer and Aluna, they are going to be going to the bottom lane. Even Parasite, going to be going to that Legion jungle, it looks like. So yeah, that's definitely my just initial concern from Clan Milk. Not really even a concern, I guess. Just something that, all right, it's 3 versus 1. Obviously, no point to have Hammerstorm and Glacius up here. If not, even both of them just going to start roaming around from the beginning. And maybe look to set up ganks elsewhere. But, yeah, we'll see how that works out for Clan Milk. As far as Trademark Esports is concerned, we are looking at Wretched Hag, Electrician, Aluna, Parasite, and Forsaken Archer. So, again, very powerful lineup over there. I love their lanes when it comes down to it. And pretty aggressive at the same time as well, which is what we like to see a lot. So, thoughts on the Hellborn team here, Phil?
I really, really like how Trademark runs Aluna. I think that they do an excellent job of utilizing her stun to its fullest potential. The Courier taking a little bit of harassment there, but easily going to activate that invulnerability and fly it on away. So, but yeah, I mean, at level 1, if you can hit that ranged creep, it has a 625 range on the stun, and that's actually 1250 if you can, up to 1250 range. As long as there's no other creeps in the way, even at level 1. So it's really, really powerful, especially early on, and they utilize it to the best potential. So I really love what they do with the hero. As for Electrician on the top lane, I agree. I think they're going to have to make a switch up on Clan Milk, because Electrician is definitely one of those heroes who not only doesn't need to get a lot of farm early on to still be pretty useful, but he's actually a pretty decent hero to land in a 2 versus 1 or a 2 versus 1 situation, maybe even 3 versus 1. We'll see how that works out for them, and him being in a short lane, I don't know how much opportunity Clan Milk is really going to have to get some kills on him.
Yeah, exactly. And that goes back to the concern that I had too. So we'll see again what Clan Milk decides to do right off the bat, though. As you were talking about Cthulhu Font going to that camp right there, using that level 1 hook'em on the creep. I believe it was, well, looks like it was a Minotaur, so getting some good amount of gold from that, and now into the lane he goes. But yeah, I definitely expect Clan Milk to make an adjustment sooner than later, because it just really isn't efficient whatsoever to have all three of those heroes obviously up there. Parasite, though, going to be in the Legion jungle, so obviously for Clan Milk, they got to be very weary of that, and I do wonder if it's something that they're kind of taking into consideration earlier on, because obviously with two aggressive wards that they have, one blocking the camp and the other one up here at the top room, but also seeing a little bit of the jungle, maybe realizing that he's not in there yet. In fact, they're going to see where Parasite's coming from, going to come from behind onto Bubbles right here. Bubbles applies some pressure to Wretched Hag. There comes that Catman nuke, though. Not going to be enough for the kill. The Leech comes out, but the shell support from Moravius right there on Bubbles will be fine. And no bloodless kill coming out just yet. But Parasite, obviously already a lot of early pressure here.
Yeah, no surprise there. It's one of the great things about running Parasite in that jungle, or in that Legion jungle, is going to be the fact that he can constantly apply pressure to the middle lane as well as try to handle the bottom lane, where Cakes is playing extremely aggressive down here at the bottom lane, not afraid at all to get up in the face of these two heroes. And if Parasite comes from in behind, which looks like he's coming right now with that Vulture Lord, there could be a lot of damage coming out to this Torturer. So he needs to back up right now if he's going to do anything. In comes the Vulture Lord. Is Aluna going to be able to get there in time? Probably not. Vulture Lord not having too much. There's the Leech coming out, and Aluna cannot get into range and probably will not even try. Yes, she will not. So, yeah, unfortunate that they got that creep, but you can tell how this could turn into a pretty rough lane for Cakes very early on.
Well, yeah, and that definitely goes back more to the point again of this top lane. Now, we do see Hammerstorm. He has actually moved to the middle lane, but so just saying, maybe they need to start moving around a little bit more. The way you see Hammerstorm stunning on the creep right there, making sure to at least hit Trophimdor before he could blink away, but obviously Trophimdor doesn't sense enough pressure to have to blink, and making the right decision right there really at the same time. So well played on his part. Top lane, we do see through the fought charging, and the freeze going to come out onto Electrician. Tundra Blast to follow up from Glacius. No, he's already used it actually. But of course Electrician has an electric shield activated, and it is going to be more than enough to stay alive. Bottom lane, Torturer may drop right here. The Skeleton auto attack just not enough, and the health potion going to be activated, and Cakes on that Torturer will survive. So he made the point earlier that Torturer applying a lot of pressure himself. He will get hit by the power throw, by the way, to drop him at half-life, canceling the health potion. But yeah, right there, nearly taken to death. But Hammerstorm made it all the way to the bottom lane, it looks like.
Yeah, so this is the switch-up that we were talking about earlier. Having a double stun down here will definitely make it a little bit easier, especially against what is basically a double stun lane with Aluna and Forsaken Archer. But you still always have to keep an eye out of this Parasite. Like I said, with him jungling in that Legion jungle, definitely has the ability to cause a pretty decent psychological effect, in my opinion, over here on the Legion team. So they're always going to be on the lookout as he's going down to perhaps check the bottom rune. Not sure exactly what he's doing. I don't know. Wasn't really watching, so.
Well, he is coming in with a Wolf Commander. Obviously, not the most efficient hero to use for Cakes. In fact, he's going to get stunned right there. Nice chain reactions follow up, but now Torture needs to be the one to run. However, Crippling Volley going to catch Hammerstorm trying to hero block, but it's not going to be enough. Bloodlust kill will come out as Z-Freak on that Parasite gets the kill right there, and tdM is now finally off to the 1-0 hero kill start. So Z-Freak, a lot of pressure early on, and I like what you said too. It definitely has a lot of a mental aspect as well. Just because he isn't actually getting those kills, just him being there, his presence was enough to really, really screw up the Legion team in that sense as well. Electrician at the top lane will get trampled on, and the final auto attack from Glacius to finish him off. So, but yeah, very aggressive early on play from Z-Freak, as you would expect. Has definitely resulted in some good things for tdM here.
Yeah, you saw Trophimdor making his way down from the middle lane with that haste rune. Unfortunately, was not able to set up a kill. And a couple of illusions from Bubbles down here, just applying a little bit of pressure to Forsaken Archer. She's not really too worried about it, but, just letting them know that, maybe at least letting them know that they know Wretched Hag was missing and had already informed them of that. So, 1-1 right now. You can tell by the disparity as far as gold and experience is concerned. It's actually a very, very even laning phase right now. Taking a look at the stats very early on, nobody really standing out too far, except for that Cthulhu Font currently at 350 gold per minute. But then again, I guess it is to be expected since they started out with the tri-lane and they are still in a 2-versus-1 situation.
Yeah, and of course he has that level 2 hook him, which is something we see a lot now on Cthulhu fonts. Really, I mean, the lure and the cooldown definitely makes it very efficient on top of that, but of course now you can deny with it if you get that level 2 mark as well, so we can even see cases of that. Bottom lane, again, Torture taking a lot of pressure, but he will once again be able to get back before he actually falls for the death, so he does have that one death, but it seems like it could have been a couple more if it wasn't for him just barely getting away from time to time. So Cakes doing a good job in that sense, but at the same time, Forsaken Archer and Aluna also playing pretty aggressive themselves. And taking a closer look at that, look at Riser's farm so far. He's 18-6 right now compared to that 22-5 Torture. So Torture has continued to do a very, very good job of this lane and getting some farms. So that's very positive news there for Clan Milk.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's, like I said, he was playing very, very aggressively early on. It definitely paid off. I think he felt pretty confident, especially after seeing Parasite go into the middle lane and was unable to secure a kill up there. So, you know, he was feeling a little confident, got some really early CS, and once you get some early CS in Torture, some early levels, you see him maxing out the Agonizing Bonds first. It's such a great tool to be able to handle the 2v1, and he used it absolutely beautifully. You see Wretched Hag down here with, with the invisibility. World of Revelation set down, but that actually belongs to tdM.
Yeah.
So he's looking for a great opportunity here to initiate. Still does not have the ultimate, however, as he got solidly beaten, at least in experience and creep kills, actually, in the middle lane. So Moravis doing a nice job. And I'll tell you what, Moravis definitely one of the players who has really stepped out in the North American competitive scene over the last few months and become a real player as far as, you know, esports is concerned.
Yeah, you know, I've made that point before, too, when casting Clan Milk. I really think, obviously, again, Milk Fat, I think, is what a lot of people know when they think Clan Milk, simply because of the, you know, the character that he is and how long he's been around. But Moravis is hands down the best player. He's their carry. He's their one that they really rely on to be successful for the team. In the meantime, Torture is going to get content air kicks. A nice chain reactions done, and it is going to be enough. The piercing arrow's not going to snipe him down. What a play by Cakes right there. Great job hitting that chain reaction. Staying alive. Parasite comes with the power throw. Will snipe him down, though. So Sender gets the ultimate last laugh right there. But at what cost now? We're going to see a port in for Bubbles. No, we're not. And the rest will be fine. So, again, Torture makes some great plays to solidly get away, but that power throw just a little bit too powerful and able to drop him. So well sniped right there by Sender. Now a 2-1 hero kill advantage in favor of our Hellborn team, but you look at the overall stats and 1,000 gold lead, just under 1,000 experience lead for Clan Milk so far. So ultimately, though, a very even game here. But as you mentioned before, too, I mean, Cthulhu Font, he's really taken off. The big question is, though, how much of an impact is a farmed Cthulhu Font going to have early on?
Well, it could have a very large impact. You know, coming from me, who was the original Cthulhu Font hater, I've seen him do some disgusting things with early farm. He's already a really, really difficult hero to kill, and when you put an early Helm of the Black Legion on him and then an early Shaman's Headdress, he's a very, very, very annoying death to deal with. The ultimate, not the most powerful tool in his arsenal, to be honest. I think it's actually the trample, especially with that low cooldown for being what it is. I think he's a really, really dominant hero with that early farm. But what I will say is what the Hellborn team is going to do is have the ability to deal with him, especially with Forsaken Archer. Would not be surprised to see her go for something like a Shield Breaker very early on here, which seems to be, you know, kind of the go-to item for ranged carries in Heroes of New Earth right now, and has been for quite a while.
Well, see, that's the funny thing, too. You know, these last couple of weeks, so as strange as it is, and we're still trying to figure it out a little bit, but we have been seeing Frostburn more and more lately. I know Slicks did it several games, and, you know, we thought maybe it was just him, but we've seen more and more players actually picking up Frostburn on heroes like Forsaken Archer. Top lane in the meantime, Electrician will fall, but a walk cost right there for Cthulhu Font. He will go down. Forsaken Archer, good reaction on her part. I believe she just ported in, try to save him, and at least got the kill. So a little bit of revenge right there for that Cthulhu Font. So it ends up being a 1-for-1. Middle lane, the Moravis once again going to jump Tralfamador, pressure him enough to force him off the ramp. But yeah, I do wonder, I mean, it seems like Shieldbreaker is still very, very powerful, and for the most part still a go-to. But yeah, I mean, with what we've been seeing lately, I mean, Frostburn, definitely a possibility.
I can see Frostburn being picked up if you have a really strong early game, because I think in the mid game, Frostburn is an extremely effective item, especially considering that, you know, ever since the change, which was, what, a year and a half ago or something like that, back when it was the hack and slash. But, you know, from the change to where you always get a slow effect, I think it is still a really good item, and especially if you're going against a team who you think, ooh, nice action here in the middle lane. Moravi's going to pick up a kill on Tralfamador, Sender throwing the power throw out, but really to not much use.
He's dominating Tralfamador.
Right. No, Moravis, he completely destroyed. He completely won mid. There was no question about it. I mean, even looking at it now, 54-13 against a 22-6 Wretched Hag.
Yeah.
I mean, that's disgusting. That's not just getting beat. That's getting put in the dumpster. But yeah, so we'll see if he's able to come back from that. But what I was going to say is, if you're going to go that build, I think you typically go that build when you know you're going to be up against a team that's probably going to go for a shrunken head. Against this Legion team, I do think you're going to see at least one of these heroes go for a shrunken head, that hero being Torture. We'll see exactly how much Cake's farm gets out of control, as he's not doing too amazingly, but Cake's, in my opinion, the second best player on Clan Milk, and definitely is a solid player himself. So we'll see if he's able to take off here as we begin to approach the end of the laning phase.
Yeah, he's had a tough time, but as we kept going back to through this game specifically, I mean, he's actually made some very nice plays to stay alive, and I know he's 0-2, but it could be 0-5, it seems like, or 0-6
He's doing a lot better than Moon Meander on Electrician, who's 140 gold per minute, 150 gold per minute.
If you compare those similar situations, yeah, that's very, very true. So, again, good news there for Clan Milk, and the overall lead does continue to be in their favor. I mean, Cthulhufon's still doing his thing, 350 gold per minute and counting. Forsaken Archer maybe in a lot of trouble right here. Bubbles, no, he doesn't run out far enough. Bubbles sitting there with an invisible rune, of course, but he just doesn't run out far enough. Are they going to tower dive? I really think they are, but it's just a matter of when. Obviously, if they go, they will expect homecoming stones, but Forsaken Archer falling back now. This could be the time to jump right here. Bubbles doesn't come for there's it goes. The Song of the Sea Nuke. In comes Glacier with the Thunder Blast. That Shell Support. And the final auto attack from Moravis right there to get the kill. Milkvat did get close enough for the assist as well. As Torture ends up getting towered over on herself, and she ends up falling as Wretched Hag and Parasite combined for a kill. So really 1-for-1 there, but I still think Clan Milk definitely coming out on top, especially since very likely going to get a tower kill, and I don't think the Hellborn team will at the bottom lane.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens there. I don't think, again, I think that's great for Trouthamador because he really, really needed to get a little bit of a gold boost there, but still under 200 gold per minute on Wretched Hag, who is arguably one of the best farming heroes in the game. Well, that's not even arguable. She's definitely one of the best farming heroes in the game. You know, Sonar Scream, or that's what it's called, right? Yeah. Okay. So Sonar Scream is a really effective farming tool. The mana cost is a little bit high on it, but the cooldown is really low, so if you get some really early regeneration items, it's definitely very effective, which is a lot of times, besides the fact that it definitely helps facilitate in the fact that she's got one of the slower blink animations, definitely assists, or an early nullstone definitely assists in, you know, that early regeneration or mana regeneration. So we'll see what happens. Wretched Hag finishing it on right here, going to be followed up by Cthulhuphon, and she'll definitely fall, as Bubble's going to use that Song of the Sea and one final auto attack to take her out. And they're going to pick up the defensive tower here in the middle lane. So Moravis over 400 gold per minute to join Milkvat. Both of them basically head-to-head racing. You take a look at the GPM chart, and they are just miles away from the closest people, even on Trademark Esports, who are not having the best time here in Game 1. I'm not sure if it's a situation of them just getting purely outpicked, or if it's really them getting outplayed. In the middle lane, I think Wretched Hag versus Bubbles is a fairly even matchup, and I think that Moravis just played it better.
Well, it's so rare to see Bubbles in general winning a lane. That's something we definitely criticize a bit about a hero like Bubbles, and a lot of people seem to agree with, is that he's not picked up because he can dominate a 1-versus-1 matchup. He's picked up because of the mobility, because of how useful he can be in that earlier to mid-game stage despite minimal farm. But in this case, Moravis, again, as you put it, it's not that he didn't just simply beat Wretched Hag this game. He really just, you know, I'm not that mean of a guy, but you get the point. But yeah, he just definitely dominated in that middle lane there. Moravis, again, 3-0-0 right now, over 400 gold per minute. It's definitely, you know, surprising to see, but at the same time, you know, it makes sense why Clan Milk is so successful. Definitely he being a big part of it, but they're just continuing to group up now and going to massively push this bottom tower. I don't see tdM doing too much, at least right away, to defend this. If they even can, I don't even think they're going to try. I mean, I doubt invulnerability is going to be used right here, and I don't think we're going to see ports. We do have Wretched Hag pushing the middle lane in the meantime, but what is that ultimately going to do? They are going to push the tower. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the Legion team ports out right here. Never mind, they're not feeling enough pressure to do so, and instead they're just going to start running back. But Clan Milk, as you put it, early on in this game, this is game number 1 of our first best out of 1. Clan Milk, though, all they need to win, though, is one best out of 3 series. I said best out of 1. Best out of 3 series to win this Grand Finals here, where Trademark Esports needs to win 2 best out of 3 series. So a win here, you know, that means Clan Milk will be just 1 game away from sealing that victory. So yeah, tdM definitely backs against the wall for them here early on.
Yeah, it's probably, in my opinion, at this time, it's probably time for Hammerstorm to go try and find somewhere to go farm. You know, they've gotten a really good advantage or gold due to the early tower pushes, but Hammerstorm should really look to try and pick up at least a portal key, in my opinion, or finish those boots. I mean, for how well the team has been doing, by the way, Trapmador taken out in the middle lane yet again. But anyway, by how well they've been really doing here in the early game and getting all this tower gold, you'd expect Hammerstorm to, and he doesn't have any deaths, so you'd expect for him at least to have something a little bit bigger than what he's got, but he really hasn't had much of any golds to speak of. So Hellborn going to pick up a tower kill at the bottom lane. You see piercing arrows at the bottom. Cthulhu Font in a lot of trouble, and yes, he will fall. Riser going to pick up the kill. So Riser finally getting over 300 gold per minute. He's going to be the first player on Frenetic, right? Trademark Esports to get over the 300 GPM mark in this game. And they're not out of it yet. The thing is that the experience is very, very even right now. Yes, they do have that 4,500 gold lead, but you saw it just dropped from about 6,500 to 4,500 after that one tower kill. You look at how far ahead they are in tower kills, a couple more, and they could be right back in this. Yeah. The biggest thing is that they have to get farm on the heroes that need it. If they want to win this game, obviously it seems like, oh, well, obviously they got to get farm on the heroes that need it if they want to win the game, but they really need to do that. They need to focus on getting the heroes that need farm into their lanes and just kind of protecting those heroes. They need to get good maps vision where right now, from what I can tell, they only have this one ward up on the map, which is covering the top rune. So at least they're going to try to give themselves a little bit of leeway in their own jungle, but they're going to need to do so much more than that if they really want to be able to take off, because Wretched Hag, definitely a farm-dependent hero, and Electrician himself also a farm-dependent hero, and then you add in Forsaken Archer to that equation, and yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of farm that you have to get. And Parasite, you can't forget about him. The fact that he hasn't had a very successful early game means that he doesn't have that really early on codex. It's not like in the next 3 minutes he's going to pick that up. You see him finishing his Ghost Marchers right there. But I'm sure that in the next 200 gold he's going to disassemble that and turn that into codex.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, I definitely wouldn't be surprised about that. And a point I wanted to follow up on what you're making on how they really need a lot of farm. To kind of go even a little bit further with that, a big reason is because Clan Milk's lineup, the roster that they have, this is a really powerful mid-game team. And because of the success that they're having earlier on in this game, that makes it even that much more scarier for Trademark Esports. So I really think Trademark Esports has kind of fallen into this place of they need to delay this game to the late game stage, to a 45-plus minute game where Forsaken Archer will eventually, get the farm, or should theoretically get enough farms to start taking over for her team. But yeah, so I think though Clan Milk, as long as they just keep this pressure up, as long as they keep this momentum up, they very likely should be victorious. So it really comes down to tdM. Can they do enough to stop it? Can they do enough to delay it, to buy that time? But yeah, Clan Milk overall just looking very good right now. Another note I wanted to make, by the way, too, is Hammerstorm, he did level up the W ability at level 2. Of course, that being his AoE, or the Mighty Swing ability. I wonder if that was a misclick. I very likely want to say it was, because it is kind of an odd ability to level, especially at level 2, let alone by level 6. But yeah, I think worth pointing out, of course, as I did actually know some people in chat actually making that point too. So
yeah. No, one of the other interesting things to talk about, actually, Luna in a lot of trouble here. She's most likely going to be taken out. Nice using that ability to try to stay alive, but just not going to be enough. Wretched Hag came in, unfortunately was not really able to do anything, not going to waste the Bat Blast, and now Moon Meander getting caught out of place. Unfortunately for Clan Milk, they will not be able to catch him out and secure a kill on him, but the Clan Milk, they're doing what they need to do. They're keeping the constant pressure up. You see how low they drop that middle tower. It's below, or just right above half health, actually. But one of the things I wanted to talk about is actually comparing Moravis to Moonmander. Now, both these players actually started out with DRD. Both these players started out playing with the DRD competitive team. I believe it was Moonmander, Moravis, Dagius, Tyler, and somebody else.
Your favorite team of all time.
King Raven, I know, was like a 6th player. He filled in every once in a while. I forget. GG Sucka, I think, was the other one. I don't know. Not for sure. But I know those two started out. And a lot of people, including Dagius, have actually made the comment that they believe Moravis is actually better than Moon Meander. So imagine the success that Moon Meander has had. And by the way, at the top lane, in the jungle, Cthulhu Font taking some damage here from Electrician and Parasite, going to use that trample to get away. and he should be just fine. Parasite does not look like he's going to follow up. Electrician's not following up yet either. They actually might have a chance to secure a kill here, although Cthulhu Font, we mentioned how tanky he is, and you look how much gold he already has saved up, and now with the Helmet of the Black Legion and Shaman's Headdress, like without more people, here comes Wretched Hag. She's going to blink in and use the Bat Blast. Cthulhu Font's going to try to get on out of there, and it will be successful because he's so damn tanky. And that's what we just talked. I mean, that's what I was talking about earlier on. That's what I'm talking about right now. And he's even going to go all the way for the barrier idol. So he's going to go straight up magic resistance for as much as possible. And that's really going to make them difficult to deal with when they're trying to push towers. That's really going to kind of hinder the amount of turtle ability that this Hellborn team is going to have, especially with heroes like Forsaken Archer and Wretched Hag, who really depend early game and mid game on those ultimates that do purely magic damage.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as items are getting built up here, I just believe I saw did he actually finish the Sustainer on Forsaken Archer, it looks like? Or, I mean, a Null Stone, and indeed it is. So he actually had the Blessed Orb and the pattern there on the Courier. So, I mean, look at Forsaken Archer's farm. It definitely has started to skyrocket a little bit. 375 gold per minute. And this, stressing that point earlier. This, obviously, we're really reaching that mid-game point now. So, and I still think our Legion team, especially with the way this game has been going, if they put it all together, could very likely win some team fights. But as this game starts to progress, and as expected, as Riser on Forsaken Archer starts to build up more and more farm, she'll become that much more powerful and that much more scary of a hero to deal with in this game. So that's great news for tdM right there. And it did seem like it was starting to snowball away, but I don't know anymore. I mean, we're now 22 minutes in. That gold lead has deteriorated a little bit, down to about 3,000, and the experience, it has kind of moved onto the way, or I guess even it may have already been on the side of the tdM. I mean, it's been very, very even for the most part, if barely on the side of Clan Milk. So, yeah, I mean, Trademark Esports, I definitely like with how they're coming back so far earlier on in this game, and it does make me wonder a little bit if Clan Milk is going to start to, perhaps play even more aggressive than they have been already. Obviously, they've already killed 5 towers, so I think it's safe to say that they have been grouping up and pushing for the most part. In fact, they're going to go for their 6th one right here. So yeah, they are keeping up the momentum, which again is great news for Clan Milk, and it's good to see them doing that. But split pushing going on in the meantime from tdM, so are they just going to let this fall and say, you know what, we got base towers, so we're fine with that, and it looks like that is going to be the decision here.
No, well, I can't say that I blame them. I think this is actually a pretty decent idea. It's going to help to remove a little bit of that goal disparity, and you see that they're actually getting experience because they're killing creeps at the same time in different lanes. They're not all just grouped up, so they've actually doubled the experience lead we just talked about, over 2,000 experience lead right now. And that's really going to help. Again, I said they have some really decent early mid-game ultimates. Forsaken Archer using that piercing arrows right now. Torture going to tablet out of there. You see Milk Fat actually going to get out of there. And now Electrician coming in. In comes Bubbles using the ultimate. However, not a whole lot of follow-up right now. You see they're just trying to survive through all this. So tdM looking for an opportunity to go on the offensive. And in goes Parasite with the ultimate. Cthulhu Fight might be in a little bit of trouble. The crippling arrows come out. And yes! Very nice job from tdM. Going to pick up that hero kill. Now Hammerstorm trying to escape. This is not going to be successful either, as Shoppador picks up a hero kill right there. So that's a 3-for-0 hero kill swing. And just like that, not only do they increase their experience lead, but the gold lead, which we just talked about being all from towers, tdM just completely turned it around. Yeah. And at this point, tdM is 100% back in this game, and they may even be in a lead right now to where Clan Milk, you're kind of looking at them like, uh-oh, guys, what are you going to be able to do now? They really need to make some action happen. And I think the thing that's really holding Clan Milk back is that Hammerstorm. It's like I said, I think they needed to get him out there, get him some early farm as well. When the lanes were being pushed up, it's kind of like a Magnus. Let him pick up his portal key. Let him pick up another item to help facilitate the team fight, because that's what Clan Milk really has going for them in the mid-game stage. Yeah. But now that the Hellborn team is beginning to catch up in gold, I mean, take a look at the GPMs. Riser on Forsaken Archer, over 400 gold per minute. We have Wretched Hag, we just talked about being 140 gold per minute, now at 280 almost, 270 right now. Electrician, 130 gold per minute, up to 270. And Parasite has consistently stayed around the 300 gold per minute mark, 250 or so. So he's really doing a great job of maintaining his farm, while also letting his team farm up the jungle, in a safer environment. So I really like what tdM is doing here. But I think Clan Milk may have screwed the pooch on this one, and they may have actually lost themselves the game.
Well, that last team fight, it was definitely, you know, it's obviously a great play by great play by Trademark Esports to respond how they did, but at the same time, you know, it was pretty sloppy play from Clan Milk too. Specifically, Cthulhu in the front lines. Not only did he miss his trample initially, unfortunately, but then he activated his Obliterate and then ran away with it activated. And obviously, that does absolutely nothing if you're not using it offensively. So, and then you mentioned also the Kelphil was landed, and it was like, well, where's the follow-up? No one followed that up. I mean, Cthulhu was busy running away, trying to survive, rather than maybe trying to turn something around. So, yeah, it was pretty sloppy play from Clan Milk overall. And Trademark Esports, huge win in that fight, and now they definitely have the lead, no doubt. Electrician, however, he overstayed his welcome here at the bottom lane a little bit too much, and Moon Meander will be taken out as Cakes with the Agonizing Bonds will take the killing blow on the Torturer. So, well played for him at least. But, yeah, if I'm Clan Milk right now, I'm definitely feeling a lot scared roll for the first time in this game because they have had the lead, and if anything, a very confident lead earlier on in this game, of course, as we keep going back to. So 26+ minutes in now, and no doubt Trademark Esports having a bit of an advantage. Frenetic, or I said Frey too. I see Riser, and I'm like, Frey! And it's like, nope. But he has 2,700 gold saved up, so he's well on his way to what I would expect to be that attack modifier now, whether it is that Ice Brand or the Shield Breaker, whatever we choose to see. Cthulhu in the meantime at the top line. Holy crap, everything used on him. But it is that damn elephant, and they really wanted to make sure to kill him. So obviously the Codex on Parasite definitely used right there as well. So yeah, this is definitely looking a lot better all of a sudden now for Trademark Esports. And again, how is Forsaken Archer going to follow this up? Well, we'll see in the near future, I'm sure.
Well, one thing I'll say is I think you have to use everything to kill a Cthulhu Fun.
Yeah.
Not just because, you know, it takes a lot to kill him, which of course it does, but because he's really the staying presence in those team fights. I mean, he's got all of that going for him. Having the Barrier Idol makes him that much more of a threat, especially to your team, who is primarily magic damage, especially right now with Forsaken Archer deciding to go about getting the Nullstone, which is a defensive item, before getting any kind of attack modifier or any other kind of attack damage item. So removing that Barrier Idol, extremely important. Not surprised they used everything on him. It's not like Clan Milk was going to be able to do anything with all those ultimates being down. The Forsaken Archer ultimate, I mean, I don't even think it was used, but even if it was, I mean, 80-second cooldown, it'll be 60 seconds when she gets to level 16. I mean, that's nothing. And you see she's already got 3,700 gold saved up, and Electrician's got 3,000 gold saved up himself, so I'll be real interested to see what the next item pickups here are.
Yeah, Trademark Esports is going to get those big items, and I don't believe you mentioned, but Hellflower actually just purchased on Bubbles recently, so he's continued to have a very successful game, still sitting at that 400 gold per minute mark, and having the Hellflower, very good news. In fact, we'll even use it right here. Yes, he will after he's used his nukes, though, but it still is going to be down. I was a little bit worried there that Aluna may have actually gotten away because of that, but no, he gets the kill, and, well, it was Aluna, I guess, and obviously not the most life, only 900 life or so. She does have an Astrolabe, though. That's a good farm for Sender right there, enough to get that item, but not enough to stay alive against a 1-versus-1 at level 15 Bubbles on top of that. So, but yeah, Hellflower on Bubbles, but that's a very big point that you just brought up again, that Nullstone. Obviously, Bubbles, if it's just him jumping onto this Forsaken Archer, he won't be able to Hellflower. He will need somebody on the team, Torturer, Glacius, or Hammerstorm. Ideally, Torturer or Hammerstorm probably, or I guess all three really.
I think Glacius is probably the one you want to go with. Well, no, I think Torture is probably the one you want to go with, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, Agonizing Bond, not the longest cooldown. Yes, it is a good source of damage, but Ice Imprisonment and especially Mighty Throw from Hammerstorm, or Hammer Throw, those are really, really good and strong abilities that you don't want to just waste because, to burn a Nullstone. So, I mean, we'll see what happens with that whole thing. Portal Key now picked up by Hammerstorm, so great to see he's finally picking that up. Probably about 8 to 9 minutes later than I would have liked to have seen it, simply because, like I said, they had such a great early game with all the great tower pushing.
Yeah.
But,
well, on that note too, but yeah, that makes it even. My ultimate point being that Bubbles, a hero that will initiate fights, especially with that portal key and be the first one to jump in. He won't be able to effectively Hellflower that Forsaken Archer, and I think that is a big deal, even that much bigger of a deal, the reason that she got that as her first item, and in fact, now she does have that Shrunken Head as well, so, yeah, I mean, this Forsaken Archer Riser playing here, going very defensively minded here earlier on, but I want to say that is the safe and perhaps even the correct choice because of how much potential this Legion side does have, or really having that gotcha. If she's able to sustain all that damage and stay alive throughout all of it, she can still put out decent amounts. I mean, she is hitting for 165 damage right now, and she does have level 4 split fire, by the way, so she has maxed that out all the way instead of going the stats route earlier on, which is we see from time to time. But yeah, so definitely like the decision-making from Ryzer right there. In the meantime, though, Electrician going to get caught out. There's a Hellflower. Hammerstorm on top with his ultimate activated, and Bubbles, the Song of the Sea Nuke. Moravis will get the kill right there, and 6-0-2 now on this Bubbles. Again, continuing to dominate. They're going to make a push here, and this could actually be pretty big for Clan Milk. Electrician does definitely have a buyback, though, as you talked about. He does have 3,400 gold pooled up, so we'll see if they get him to use it at the very least, however, which could be a big deal. Tower's going to start dropping, and vulnerability is going to be used, and there goes the buyback from Electrician. Now, Travel by a nice struck it right there in front for Sacred Archer will not get stunned. He's going to start trying to turn things around. Barrier Idol's activated, though, in the background. Glacius gets picked up by a Bat Blast from Wretched Hag, but now Hammerstorm's on the run, has a Galvanize activated, though, while on the run, of course, buffing up his armor a little bit, but not going to be nearly enough to save himself. Now we see Cakes gets caught, and Cakes will fall. So it seems like Clan Milk has played defensive once again the whole team fight, just like the top fight. Just completely running away the whole time. And tdM is easily going to win it as a result.
Yeah. I think Hag might have been a little overzealous there with using the ultimate. I think they could have secured the kill on Torture without using it. But and then maybe utilize that to try to pick up another kill on Cthulhu Font. But they're wisely going to back up, and they're going to take this opportunity to do Kongor. So tdM continuing to be very impressive here, and this this is a comeback, in my opinion. This is a comeback victory. They were very far behind early on. Now the experience, not so much, but Clan Milk, they had all the opportunities, all the tools to be able to get in there and really force, spank that monkey. Anyway, they, sorry, I wanted to stop.
Is that what your announcer pack says?
That's what my announcer pack
Custom
says.
one.
Yeah. Oh. Is it what we can hear? I thought it was what the players... I don't even know. Oh, I guess it's a global one, so it's whatever the caster or whatever the person who's watching is using. I don't know. Dude, I've worked for S2 for like 7 or... Wow, a year almost now.
By the way, stuff's happening. Wretched Hag will get picked off, and she'll lose her token of life. So right away, that goes down. So that is good news there for Clan Milk. Oh, Cthulhu Font, though. Again, he's damn tanky, and that will be the reason why he is able to get away right there. But good catch, actually, onto Wretched Hag, at least to make her get rid of the token of life. So that Conger kill, obviously a good gold bonus, but really not accomplishing too much in the end from tdM in that sense. Not able to use that token of life effectively, and back to even ground in that sense at least. But yeah, still, Trademark Esports, 10,000 experience lead, 6,000 gold lead. And again, this Forsaken Archer, the big focus for very good reason. Another 2,200 gold saved up. Now you can guarantee we will see that more aggressive. And especially with the way she's built, I really find it hard to believe that she won't go, something like that Shield Breaker into the level 3 Shield Breaker now. Just raw, pure damage at this point. Seems to make the most sense, again, with that Nullstone Shrunken Head, especially as her first 2 items. But we'll see when Ryzer decides to go with Shrunken Head. Speaking of that, Bubbles actually just buying one himself, so... And obviously, Torture has had one for a little bit. What you were pointing out earlier, Torture definitely a good candidate on this Legion team to get one. So,
yeah. Well, and it's kind of what I was talking about earlier. It's a great item on Torture. No, that's really all I have to say about it. Especially being able to he doesn't really have the sustainable mana regeneration yet to be able to be like just pumping away with the ultimate. Mm-hmm. But having the Shrunken Head activated while pumping away with the ultimate is extremely, extremely effective at basically all stages of the game. I mean, 144 magic damage per second once you hit level 16 is ridiculous. That's a ridiculous amount of magic damage coming out. So. We see Cthulhu Font picking up the Soul's Bulwark. I don't know if you mentioned that, but currently on defensive right now. So I'll just. Oh, is it? I'm sorry. I looked at.
Yeah, the tab doesn't show that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really stupid. I'm gonna talk to somebody about that. But yeah. So having the Soul's Bulwark, gonna probably go full out. Wow, Torture absolutely destroyed, and you can see that Wretched Hag making full use of the Hellflower. And that's one of the great things about heroes like Bubbles, like Wretched Hag, having that jump in potential, and the fact that they're already an intelligence base, adding that much more damage because of the additional, not only do you get the 51 damage, but the plus 20 intelligence. it's just a really nice item to have. Electrician, however, in a little bit of trouble. You just heard that that Hellflower going off on him, and he will indeed be taken out with Hammerstorm picking up the kill down there. So a really nice 1-for-1 action. I don't know who's more.
Well, Hellflower's doing work on either side.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Obviously, Hag and Bubbles both using it effectively right there and setting up those kills. I mean, Parasite, we talked about that Codex he picked early on, but again, he too has followed up with a Shrunken Head. So Shrunken Head, I guess it was kind of expected, but 4 heroes on our Hellborn team have it, and 2 heroes on our Legion team. So 6 heroes in total in this game have a Shrunken Head between the 2 teams. So goes to show you, you know, just how highly valued it is, especially for this game. For both teams. Again, 4 to the 5 players on one team having it definitely tells you something. But Forsaken Archer, 4,500 gold saved up. She's Riser doing the whole I'm going to save up all the money until I can buy it straight up and then right-click it deal, as he did, I believe, for the Shrunken Head as well. So we're going to have to wait a little bit longer. It looks like Wretched Hag will jump Glacius in the meantime and pick up the kill. Bubbles, though, trying to respond. Will blink in. Is it going to do enough damage with the Hellfire activity? No, not going to be enough in time. And Wretched Hag will blink away as soon as the Hellfire wears off. And, of course, not silenced anymore. So good job on his part. And perhaps the biggest thing about that, actually, is the fact that Wretched Hag didn't use that Shrunken Head. So he still has all 10 seconds on it as a result of, well, he obviously couldn't use it because of the Hellflower. But in the end, maybe that was for the better. So good for Tralfamador, who, by the way, we were on his case earlier, and for good reason. He was definitely getting dominated in that middle lane against Bubbles. But Wretched Hag has no doubt recovered, and a big part of the comeback success for tdM.
Yeah, I mean, look at, and 4 heroes with Shrunken Heads over on the Hellborn team.
Yeah. 4.
Like, the Legion team, we talked about no true carry potential. What are they going to do? Like, Hammerstorm with the ultimate still is going to do some decent damage, but other than that, like, you see Cthulhu continuing to go for that, you know, more defensive build. Torture not really doing that much damage. Bubbles of all heroes is doing the most damage, and that's a lot, you know, largely because of the Hellflower pickup. So, wow, it seems like I can't say much of anything without a Hellflower being used and somebody dying.
Well, that was actually really good coordination on their part. Sender and Tralfamador deserve a lot of credit right there, because Sender actually launched that red power throw a couple of seconds before Hag even got there, knowing that Hag was going there. Obviously, there was good communication going on, like I said. And as soon as right before the power throw hit, the Hellflower was applied, maximizing the damage, of course, and then she came in to clean him up. So Bubbles, completely unexpected for him. He just burst it down like crazy. So yeah, again, great coordination on the part of tdM right there, and continued success for them. Now 5,900, 6,000 gold saved up for Forsaken Archer. Please buy something.
We'll see. Probably gonna be a Doombringer.
Yeah.
No, Milkfat, he's actually getting a little bit of trouble here at top lane. In comes Wretched Hag, using the Hellflower. Nice stun by Hammerstorm. Gonna try to turn this around perhaps on Wretched Hag. However, the red power throw gonna hit Cthulhu Font, and looks like Hammerstorm is the one that needs to be careful. Really short blink right there, but enough to at least keep them from chasing too much longer. And now Trademark gonna have to fall back, so they, you know, are gonna be content with that kill on Glacius. No, they're not. Torture Cakes. I don't know what he was thinking right there.
He was invisible right there, but Aluna has a bound eye.
Wow.
So.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's just that's definitely I do that all the time too. It's like, what were you thinking? Oh yeah, I guess he was invisible, but totally didn't realize that Aluna has that bound eye. And here we go with Trademark Esport, a massive push coming on. And Clan Milk, I don't know if they're going to be able to stop too much, especially with Torture Dead, and definitely cannot buy back. Absolutely no money pooled up, so this is going to be a 4 versus 5 if tdM chooses to push, and it doesn't look like they are. And, you know, I can appreciate the decision simply because tdM is in a much better spot. And as we say from time to time, and big shout out to Artosis for this. Definitely heard it from him a lot for StarCraft 2 casting. But when you're ahead, simply put, get further ahead. And that's exactly what tdM is going to do here. So 7,000 gold on Forsaken. Okay, it does get to a point where it's like, really? Like, seriously? Fucking buy something, please. Okay, there. Thank you. Geometer's Bane. Was that so hard? I mean, he wanted to make sure he had enough for a buyback, so obviously I'm being a little bit sarcastic, but still. Not too often you see 7,000 gold saved up, but at 39 minutes especially.
No, I mean, it'd be different if it was like near the very end of the game, or you're down like a Rax or something like that, or two, and you have to make sure that you can buy back twice or something crazy. But other items being picked up. You see a Portal Key just finished on Parasite. Still keeping that Codex at level 1, which I actually like. I think him putting money into other items is going to make him more effective and give him a little bit more time in these team fights. So I really like what he's doing there, and he has been a key player in a lot of these kills, even since the early game phase, which typically it's the opposite. Typically you see like early on in the game, a Parasite will get a really good lead and take over. By the way, there's a pub train heading north, and Forsaken Archer, she will be ended up getting canceled as I believe Hell. Okay,
Yep.
Yeah, the Hellflower was used, and she'll be going down. So.
Gotcha.
I was trying to figure out exactly what canceled the TP.
Yeah.
But because obviously he couldn't use the Hellflower immediately, but what he did was he used the Hellflower then Tablet Command. Or Tablet Command then Hellflower.
Well, they get the kill. That's the big thing. And she's down now for 60 seconds, but this goes back to the point that we were, at least I was ranting on a little bit. Had so much gold saved up, but it is going to be worthwhile here now, because now that she bought that Germanus Vein, she still has 2,200 gold saved up, and is going to use it right here. So here we go. Shrunken Heads are activated all over the place by both teams. Torture the one left behind, though. And she's going to start dropping quickly. Oh, she gets a little bit creep blocked right there. That does not help things. It's a Legion team going to try to turn this around. Trample coming out. Fromka to the bomb. Bubble starts the pagan. There's Hammerstorm and Ratchet getting completely locked down. Will end up dying. Forsaken Archer, though, with her Shrunken Head activated finally at the end of that all, is just sitting there pounding in right-click damage. Cthulhu Phone will fall. Bubble's actually able to portal away. He has his portal key. Okay, there we go. And, no Homecoming Stone, though. So actually still maybe in a lot of trouble here, as Bubble's just going to try to keep running, but I think he's going to end up getting caught, because, again, no Homecoming Stone. Is he going to actually portal key again? Oh, there we go. And, yeah, obviously you can't do that, so. Well, that's more good news for Trademark Esports. And Clan Milk, it's kind of seeming like we're going to do a point of, unless they happen to get Forsaken Archer like they got that just now, without him being able to buy back, then not a whole lot of hope.
She just earned back all the gold that she spent.
And that, too, yeah.
So. And Tralfamador ended up buying back on Wretched Hag to get back in that team fight. Very, very worthwhile, in my opinion. They're going to be able to make a strong push here out of top lane with Bubbles, not having any money for buyback, and being down for 50 more seconds. This is almost a guaranteed tower kill as long as they continue to push. Although they are only 2 right now. I'm sorry, 3. I didn't notice that Z-Freak on that Minotaur was still in there. So I think this is definitely going to be at least a tower kill. We'll see if it goes further than that.
Yeah, there go. No, we see Parasite porting out, actually, so. Oh, never mind. I was going to say, that looked weird, actually. The Minotaur was porting out. I'm like, I guess you could do that. But no, that was actually post-haste port in from Electrician on top of the Minotaur minion. So well played right there. In the meantime, though, they're going to go in the front lines again. Shrunken Heads activated all over the place from both teams. So not a whole lot of damage coming out, but we finally see Hammerstorm porting in. But look at Parasite in the background, dropping Torture like he's hot right there. Hammerstorm gets caught by the 2-second stun. You see Cthulhu Phone eating Parasite out of the creep, but it doesn't matter. He just squirts on away, and the damage done. So
you could tell Trapp's got his ultimate up because he didn't use it in the last team fight. You could tell he was like hanging around near that edge, like, please let me go in. But I mean, with his health being so low, Hammerstorm was pounding the shit out of her.
Yeah.
So I mean, decided not to go back in, which is, in my opinion, is 100% okay. Now, if I'm Trademark Esports, I'm looking at Kongor. I'm thinking, man, this is a pretty nice opportunity right here. Oh, nope, they're gonna try and pick up Bubbles here. In fact, but Wretched Hag in a lot of trouble. Oh, she does end up going down, but it will cost Hammerstorm her life. So with that, we have the vote to concede. 3 people down, and that's gonna do it. Clan Milk down for the count. It's 1-0 Trademark, and this is the first of 2 possible best of 3s. So we could be in for a very long night, Breaking CBK.
Yeah.
A very long night.
We definitely can be, and it's definitely not necessarily the worst thing in the world. Obviously, some good Heroes and Newerth action there, but Trademark Esports, definitely solid comeback on their part. I do think Clan Milk, you could argue, didn't necessarily play it the most efficiently when they had that advantage, especially that top lane push. Again, how they played it seemed like there's a lot of miscommunication, whether or not they really wanted to fully commit or fall back, maybe some missed stuns here and there, and really allowed tdM to kind of get things rolling for them. And once that top fight was successful for Trademark Esports, all of a sudden momentum started happening for them, and the train did not stop. Riser just completely took off for Trademark, and a big part for their victory, of course. But yeah, all around, very well played from Trademark Esports. And as you put it, we are now going to be going to a second game with Trademark Esports up 1-0 here in this first best out of 3. Clam Milk needing to win one of the best out of 3s. Trademark Esports needing to win 2. We'll see what happens, guys. We're going to have our second game of our first best of 3 coming up next. Stay tuned. Once again, I was Breaking CBK. Joining me was for the thrill. And as always, stay tuned to honcast.com for much, much more coverage.